What's up, guys? So today we're going to be talking about how to quickly identify limiting beliefs. And I'm going to go over 3 different ways. So the first one is going to be looking into the mirror and looking inside of our eyes while making a statement, a declarative statement, that which love is always saying, right? The second way of doing it is saying your name and then imagining and revisiting situations where you introduced yourself to other people in terms of individuals or groups. The other way would be, the third way is the way you walk. Okay, so we'll begin at number 1. So this one will require you just go to the bathroom or have like a mirror that you'll look at. And if you notice, there's like this idea of like mirror magic. So it kind of mirrors, right, some of the practice that you do there, but what it really does, it invokes a certain emotion. It allows you to begin to observe yourself in a different way. So I want you to do this. Look yourself in the mirror and look at inside of your eyes and get close to your eyes and look deep in your eyes. Okay, your eyes are the windows to your soul. Your eyes communicate so much, guys, so much that it is undescribable of how much your eyes can express the true identity of who you are to a person in matters of seconds. When I went through, just a quick side story, it's like when I went through my enlightenment season where I felt becoming one with God, my eyes changed. The way I look at myself and the way my eyes look changed. Okay, because your eyes, okay, they reflect your belief system. When your belief system begins to upgrade or resurrect or transform into more of a holier and godly character, your eyes begin to reflect that as well. So this is what you do. You look into the mirror and you look at yourself and say that which God, right, love, is always saying, because love cannot say anything that is incongruent with who it is. So love is love. So love cannot deny anybody. Love cannot say, hey, I don't love you, because for love to say, I don't love you, is to reject itself. But love loves itself, so it cannot reject anybody, right? Love cannot change who they are because of someone else's actions. And this is the same thing that you in your self-development will realize. I am who I am, and another person's thoughts about me or what they do does not affect who I am, because I am, right? Because you're taking back your I am power and centralizing it back into your mind, where you're not giving your I am power, casting it out to other people, giving it into their hands and giving it to society, right? Or people with certain statuses to say something about you, right? So we'll do meditations on that too. But back to the point. So what is God saying about you always? I love you, right? You are loved, right? This is the gospel, right? The great news. So when you look at yourself in the mirror, you look into your eyes and say, I love you. You are loved. You keep on saying that. You look at yourself in the eyes and you say, I love you. You are loved. And you keep on doing it. Now, this is how you're going to begin to see principalities and powers and rulers of darkness rise up. Okay, the strongholds. This is how you identify these limiting beliefs, right? Because we don't war against flesh and blood, okay? Your neighbor isn't the enemy between you and feeling love. It's a delusion, okay? We'll get to, those are other videos. But when you're looking at yourself in the mirror and you say, I love you, you're invoking thoughts, primarily feelings, okay? Because a feeling is a spiritual compound of a thought and an emotion, okay? A thought and emotion come together and they build a feeling. So when you say I love you in the mirror, certain feelings are going to rise up, okay? These feelings are going to practically be testifying that you're not. No, you're not. Okay, that's how you identify the Antichrist spirit, okay? The Antichrist spirit says it's been here from the beginning, okay? The Antichrist spirit is the spirit or the thoughts, okay, that are in the kingdom of darkness or what is known as the world. These these thoughts or these spirits' duty is to convict you you are not loved. So this is the idea. It's an antichrist spirit. So the antichrist spirit is to convict you you are not loved. This is to be in a state of condemnation. And this is what Christ says. I didn't come here to condemn, but I came here to bring justice, to bring those who are slaves of sin, right? Slaves of false identities that they don't want to be anymore. Christ says, I am giving you my identity so you don't have to be you anymore. So you can become like me, one with the Father, having a relationship with the love, right? So when you're saying I love you or you are loved, right? And this is also training your brain to realize that you are the only person that needs to actually love yourself, to actually feel loved, right? Because usually we're trying to say like, am I loved? Am I worthy of love? By having a third party validate that. So we want to begin to practically dissolve that desire or need of having your external reality, not external reality, but third parties, right, communicate to you that you're loved. Because when you raise up your internal voice, right, practicing that my voice is the pure commandment, my voice is the law within me saying I am loved, and you don't really need a reason to be loved because love is love and it's unconditional, and only Christ is the only entity in the spiritual realms that can actually help a human soul come to that realization and conviction. Okay, so to the point, when you're saying I love you or you are loved, these feelings are going to come up. They're going to say no, you're not. Okay, how do you handle these feelings? Okay, these feelings, right, is sin. Okay, Paul begins to write in the Romans where he says Christ condemned sin in the body by the Spirit. Okay, let me say that again. Christ condemned sin in the body by the Spirit. Because usually, right, sin condemns you in the body or you in the flesh, right? But how does sin do that? Sin says it uses the law, right? You realize that a lot of people who come out of religious backgrounds are very religious, very strict. They have very low self-esteem or very scary amount of pride. Okay, because because the law creates insecurity, condemnation, or pride. That's the only thing that the law can produce. But if you remove the law, right? If you die to the law, unconditional love awakens and you see all things as one. But when you insert a law into the human consciousness, we create this dualistic reality where now we have proud people and insecure people. And that's how, our social structure is, because we honor a group of people and we shame the others. So that's just the individual being translated to the collective. As I was saying, Christ condemned sin in the body because sin uses the law to condemn you, right? Because you were born, by the time you become conscious of what is good and right, good or bad, you already did things that sin is using the law to condemn you. Oh, look at how you did this. Remember when you did this to your brother and sister? You remember when you said this about that person? Remember when that person did something to you, right? So all of these experiences are communicating that you are not loved. Okay, so this is when you begin to apply the principles that Christ taught. Okay, that in your meditation, or right when you're looking at yourself in the mirror, because what are we doing at the mirror? We're trying to identify which feelings, which limiting beliefs are keeping us in the state of hell or torment. Okay, because hell is the idea, like love is not there. Okay, that's what it is. Or fear. What's keeping us in fear, right? And we identify these limiting beliefs by saying you are loved. You are worthy of love. Well, worthy is not the best way to describe it, but by saying you are loved or I am loved, we're bringing to our awareness all the ideas and thoughts that are saying no, you're not. These are the principalities and powers that you have to war against. Okay, how do you beat these principalities and powers? Christ defeated them on the cross. He says he canceled out all these written commandments that worked against us by the cross, because he took upon the curse on himself. What is the curse, guys? What is the curse that humanity fight fights with or is under, right? You are not loved. When someone curses you, right, what are they practically saying? I don't love you. You're not lovable. That's what it means to curse. Okay? So when you're cursing someone, you're practically sending out energy, right, to say you are not loved. And if your voice carries enough power in it, and they receive what you said, or you receive what they said, it begins to put them into a state of consciousness and convicting the I am that lives inside of them, that want to know what they said is right. It's true. And they begin to live it. You prophesied practically their life. But remember in Isaiah it says, every word that comes in judgment, we shall condemn because of the righteousness of God. Because God is saying you are loved, so you don't need to pay attention to anybody else's opinion. You see what I'm saying? So practically, after identifying all these thoughts as saying you're not loved, what you do is apply mercy. Apply forgiveness. Go into those situations, say, I forgive you. I forgive you. And when you forgive yourself, you also have to forgive others. Okay? When you do this, it might be a very challenging situation. Because a lot of people go through a lot of difficult and messed up things. Okay? It won't be the easiest thing to do, because there's some painful things to get through, but it is critical for you to do it. Okay? Because it will free you and you will change as a person. It is the best investment. Okay? Always invest into spiritual assets. Okay? Because this will liberate you. Okay? Forgiveness enables you to inherit the kingdom of God. Remember that. Okay? So you forgive yourself and you forgive others. You apply mercy to others and to yourself. When you do this, all of these feelings that communicate to you, right, that you're not loved, will begin to dissolve. And remember when I said that Christ condemned sin in the body. Now, think about it. Sin uses the law to condemn you, right? How does it do it? Judging and condemning you, right? But how do you condemn judgment and condemnation? You use the exact opposite of what Christ taught you, right? He says, forgive and be merciful. So what you do is you eradicate the power of the devil or the power of sin by doing the opposite of what it does. Instead of judging and condemning, right? Because you live by the law. Paul says, if you walk by the law, you shall live by the law. So your consciousness will operate according to the law. So everything's conditional. But once you switch it, right, by grace, now you stand above the law. And this is what Paul says, don't go back to the law, because you will fall from grace. You reject the gift of God. Okay? So receive grace. So by receiving grace, that means you're practicing forgiveness and mercy. So you begin to do it, and you will eradicate sin from your body. And it says, what we could not do in the body according to the law, Christ did in the Spirit. But now that Spirit dwells in us, and it is by that Spirit we overcome sin in our body, that righteousness may abound in us. And what is righteousness? A proper relationship with God. How do you have a proper relationship with God? Is it by impressing Him? Is it by working for His love? Working for His attention? Or realizing who the Father is? Righteousness comes from realizing who the Father is. Who helped us realize who the Father is? Christ. Because He expressed Himself. In Christ was the Father. It was the Father expressing Himself through Christ to us to reconcile us back to Himself, that He may bring every light photon back into a harmonious state, made in the image and likeness of love. Okay? So that's number one. That's already 15 minutes. It'll be a long video. Step 2, saying your name. Okay. Another beautiful way of realizing limiting beliefs is the way you say your name. Okay. Maybe after this video, you might begin to say your name differently. And that's good. Because when you begin to say your name differently, right, you're automatically changing your identity. Okay. Notice sometimes when someone says, hey, what's your name? And you say your name. When you said your name, what feelings arose? Look at it. Remember, like when someone asked you your name, or when you had to introduce yourself to a classroom or a group of people, right? When you said your name, how did it make you feel? Because when you introduce yourself to another person and you say your name, you're practically invoking your your self-belief about yourself, your views about yourself. And this is what you want to analyze. When you say your name, am I getting a cool vibe, a positive vibe, or am I getting a negative vibe? Right? And you want to study the emotions more than the thoughts. When I say my name or introduce what emotions are being invoked? Okay? You don't go into the thoughts yet. Just how does it make you feel? Okay, this is why it's important in a lot of traditions or ancient traditions or cultures is what are you going to name the baby? Okay, because they understood that the name or the sound of the name is God, right? As God is word. Word is sound and tone. Sound is the intellect, tone is the emotional, right? The word is also light. Light, right? Masculinity would be the electricity. The femininity would be the emotion, right? In Christ is the Godhead or the Father, Mother, God, right? Electromagnetic. So when you speak and there's the sound of what you're saying, but there's also the tone. But where's the power? It's in the tone. It's in the it's in the feminine. Okay? Feminine gives birth to more thoughts and feminine. Okay? So the idea of the virgin birth gave birth to the unlimited power of God, which is Christos. Okay? So when you look at these ancient traditions or cultures, they paid attention to how the name sounded, because you're also influenced by the way other people say your name, right? You can realize, like, when your parents are mad at you or someone's angry at you, they say your name in a certain way, and that's how you might actually that's the way you might actually introduce yourself to another person. You say your name as if you're in trouble, or when you say your name, you're like ashamed of your name because your name might be associated to something, or you tied your identity with something shameful. So when you say your name, like, you can have a sense of shame. And people who have strong spiritual discernment, right? When I hear someone say their name or introduce themselves, I can tell, like in a matter of seconds, I can tell who they are and what they believe about themselves. Okay, but that's spiritual. That is the gift of spiritual discernment. Pray for it. If you didn't ask for spiritual discernment, pray for it. It's free. Okay? And don't boast in it. Just give the holy imagination, God, all glory, because God is the one that gave you the gift. Okay? And teach other people that they can have it too for free if they just ask. You don't have to work for it. So notice that the way you say your name will impact the way you think about yourself. So what you want to do is say your name differently to yourself. For example, in my life, when I was younger, I was made fun of my name because it sounded like silver, right? Because my name is Sylvan, but people in America call me Sylvan. But people would say, "Oh, that sounds like silver," or not, almost spelled like silver. So when I was a kid, I thought kids were making fun of me, right, by calling me Silver, Silver, Silver. So I began to dislike my name. Okay, and then I went home, and my mom said, "Oh, silver is like a precious metal." That made me feel a little bit better, but the damage already was there when someone was already making fun of my name. Okay, so it was only recently, like during COVID, when I began to realize, like, the way I say my name, like when I introduce myself, I almost had I was like shy or ashamed of my name, or it sounds funny. But then I was like, no, it doesn't. Then I started realizing, like, a lot of people actually like my name. So that's when I began to renew, right, my mind and transform the way I think about my name and the way I say it. So I literally sat down and I began to say my name differently. And when I was saying my name, I introduced different emotions to it. So I'm pairing emotions, right, beautiful emotions, or the ones I desire, or personalize it. What kind of emotions do you want your name to be associated with, right? So when you're saying your name over and over and over, right, in your meditation, so sit down, close your eyes, and begin to say your name, chant it, right? And when you're chanting your name, pair beautiful emotions to it. Listen to a song that makes you feel good, and say your name. So now you're associating your name with that song. So when you say your name, that's how you feel. So I began to introduce myself as Sylvan. That's who I am, Sylvan, right? And it changes the way people receive me, and it changes the way I view myself. Okay. Last one. Walking. Okay. Walking meditation or practice will also help you identify limiting beliefs. Okay. So in this one, maybe do it in the nighttime. Okay, when there's not too many people, make sure it's safe. So when you're walking, I want you to walk like a model walks down a runway. You walk. Okay. The thoughts I want you to have in your mind is, I am the sexiest person in the world. Yes, I said it. Okay. I want you to walk as the most sexiest person in the world. And when you walk down the runway, everyone, in your imagination, everybody awes. Both men and women. They're shocked on how much sex appeal is coming off of you. Okay. That's what I want you to do in the nighttime. When you're walking, in your imagination, imagine you're walking down the runway, and I want you to embody that I am sexy. Okay. Because now, in terms of the body, a lot of people dislike their body because we associate body in terms of sexual interest. So if you're not sexually attractive, your body in terms of love is, oh, it's not lovable. Okay. So what you want to do is remove this idea, right, of your body's not loved, because it's your concept of that. So inwardly you can change that, okay, through because your concept of, oh, my body's not lovable is not based on a condition. Okay. We're not going to go into beauty standards. Okay. I want you to realize that the beauty standard is disabling your ability to get in touch with your body, because if you can get in touch with your body out of love, okay, you can heal it. You can lose fat faster. You can build muscle faster when you're doing it out of love. Okay. When you're trying to force your body to become sexy, or you begin to imagine that it's not good enough, and it actually may cause more issues in your body in terms of the hormones. Okay. So when you're walking, I want you to invoke sex appeal. So you walk and watch how models walk, and I want you to do the same thing. When you're doing it, you're going to feel uncomfortable. You're like, this is not me. It's because your subconscious beliefs already told you you're not sexy, you're not attractive, you're weak, you're pathetic. I don't know, you know the same, all that bullshit. So when you're walking, I want you to feel the most confident man. Or if you're a woman, the sexiest woman alive. I want you to walk like that. And you do it for 5 minutes. And it might be, force yourself. No one's watching. The only one that's watching you is you. And you can't even be, you can't even express yourself by being alone with yourself. That's crazy. No one's watching you. So who's these spiritual entities, right, watching you when you're alone? It's yourself. It's because you believed in these spiritual entities watching you. But no one's observing you. Get used to being weird, being alone. Do something that you never did, because it will break these electromagnetic fields. Okay. So when you're walking, you might realize, oh, when I was a kid, I had a big belly. I was a little bit overweight. Well, I don't know, subjective, but I was overweight. So what I did, I always held my my muscle, my abdominal muscle, very strong, and it was out of fear. So what I was doing, I was storing a lot of emotions of fear and rejection in my stomach, because I was holding it in all the time. And when I started doing this practice of like walking confidently that I am attractive, right, walking upright, I began to feel this uneasiness in my stomach. And what I did, so this is what you do. When you begin to feel uneasiness, you might feel uneasiness in the throat area, or in the shoulders, or in the traps, or maybe in the stomach, maybe for women like your breasts, because the insecurities, because when you're doing this, your insecurity will come out, okay? Or your butt, or the way you kind of walk. Expect it, okay? This is the purpose of this meditation. So when you're walking in confidence, right, you're owning it, okay? You're the baddest one out there. The antichrist, okay, the insecurities, the limiting beliefs, emotions are going to begin to awaken in the body. So now you're going to feel them, okay? So this is what you do. When you begin to, so you do it, you stay in the state of uncomfortability for like a solid minute, right? You're going through it, and why I'm saying is like for a minute is like I want you to realize where exactly in your body you're feeling it, and where is it coming from, okay? You don't want to go into deep, oh, like this person once said this to me, right? They said like, oh, I have a small butt, or oh, you got man boobs, or why you slouching, right? Because these remarks begin to cripple, right? I see them in like spiritual discernment. When I look at people, I see certain beliefs about themselves that practically condition the way they walk and move, okay? But if you cast out the spirit, break that spirit, their body will actually start opening up again, okay? And this is why it's important to do semen retention for dudes, because it will improve your posture. And so when you're identifying these emotions, right, you identify them, all you want to do is like get your hand and put your hand wherever you feel uncomfortable. Close your eyes and just do a slight smile. And what you want to visualize is like you smiling to that area and saying these types of phrases. It's okay. It's okay. And practically what you're trying to do is you're showing it compassion and love. Forgive it, you know, forgive it for being a little too big or small. It's okay. So what you're doing when you do this, you're releasing these emotions, and you keep doing it. And what you want to, when you're doing it, take deep breaths. And when you take deep breaths, you want to do it like, you know, when a baby's born and it's just sitting there and it's breathing really slow. That's the kind of breathing you want to mimic, because that's going to bring you back into your divine origin. Because remember, God breathed into Adam, and Adam was made out of earth, right? The mother. So like Father Air, Mother Earth, they come together, they have intimacy, they give birth to who? Adam, right? So when you're breathing with your body, you're having intimacy with your body. You're actually making love. So breathing into air, you're having intimacy with your body. So you treat the way you breathe as if you're making love to yourself, right? So when you put your hand to wherever you're feeling distressed, make love to it and call it beautiful. Practically, in other words, send love there. Tell it you can relax. No one sees you. No one's judging you. No one's laughing. And when you do that, you say, I like you. I thank you. So when you do it. And these emotions, because these emotions, you got to see them as electromagnetic fields or vibrations. These vibrations and these fields begin to mold the way your body appears. Slowly but surely, it begins to mold you. Okay, your beliefs do affect the way you walk and grow, and also your face. It does. Okay. So when you do this, and practically the goal is to do this. You walk until it becomes comfortable walking sexually, like a sex bomb. That's what you want to do. So do it in the nighttime to get a little bit better. And then when you feel more comfortable, you do it during the daytime, because now people can kind of see you. So what you want to do is you fight towards that. Hey, this is who I am. This is who I am, right? You're forming a new identity and allowing this new identity's emotion or feeling permeate your body. This is creating your heavenly body, okay? Because your heavenly body is the emotional body, okay? So when you are meditating on the truth, you give way to beautiful emotions. These beautiful emotions release different hormones. These hormones affect your biology, your DNA expressions, and so forth, your physiology, right? So you can do this by intentionally walking like you're a model, and it's really cool. It changed the way I walk. You express who you are when you walk. So when you practice it, practice it in the daytime, like go on like 20-minute walks around your neighborhood and do like little like, okay, for this next 30 yards, I'm gonna walk, do my model walk. And then you walk normally, up straight, and then you practice it for 10 minutes, just 10 minutes. 50 yards you do it, and then you relax, walk regular, and then another 30 yards. So you keep on doing it, and so you're training your body to get used to this new identity. Okay, and then if you want to really step it up, go to the gym, go get on a treadmill, put on, I don't know, whatever music makes you feel some type of way, like you're, the shit. Put it on and walk with everybody looking at you. Walk like you own the shit. Okay, I'm not joking. That'll give you so much confidence. You walk into the club the same way, trust me, you'll be turning heads. Dudes will be turning heads looking at you sometimes. Okay, so these are the 3 ways to identify your limiting beliefs and address them. I hope that you guys found this very informative, because when I did these practices, my life changed. I did this primarily during COVID, and then I still continued practicing it throughout up till now, and it is amazing. So if you have any compliments, concerns, or comments, leave in the comment section. Hit the like button, share this video with people, and I'm trying to do the best for you guys. I'm trying to explain everything I went through and put a spiritual influence on it, so you guys can see how the spiritual, the material, and what Christ did for us, how it affects every part of our life. And other than that, God bless you guys. I wish that you come into the full realization of what Christ did, that you may walk in peace and joy and love, and seeing that you have nothing to worry about. God loves us all. And with that being said, God bless.